you to Unity in Ashland. It's a special morning, an auspicious time on our planet, right? People all over the planet are gathering today, this morning, in interfaith gatherings to pray for the people at Standing Rock. And it's even bigger than that, because people get it in their hearts that we're praying for the planet, that we're praying for the end of the petroleum industry. We're praying for those people all over the planet who are deeply attuned to the earth as the First Nations people in every nation, especially here on Turtle Island. They're praying for those people because those people have carried a burden in many ways, right? In their own bodies, in their own children's lives. And so I know your hearts are all moved today, and so the type of service that we're having is a time for the prayers of the people, for your thoughts and your poems and your prayers to come out and join together with the prayers of the people at Standing Rock and all over the planet. So I'm so thankful to be here with you today and be, in solidarity with each other, to feel each other's presence as we're standing in solidarity in a very real way, because we're not separated really by miles, by time and space. So in a very real way, our spirits are there, and we're all joined together. Thought it was cool that we have this rock that's here every week, but we wanted to use it this week to be our standing rock. And I'll be talking a little bit more about what that symbolizes later. We have a beautiful altar that's been created by many of you, and Al brought his drum and sweetgrass and birch and his Native American teachers' pictures, and Natasha brought the beautiful white buffalo and the white buffalo calf, and sage and sweetgrass and crystals. And many of you have brought drums, I think, and we have a big drum that several of us can play on at once. We have multiple musicians, so it's going to be, a deep, moving and embodied time together. So thank you all for being here. And I'd like to open with Al doing a Native American prayer that will help all of our hearts to join and create this sacred space together.
Aho Ntakuyasu. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my relations. So I'd like to invite you to stand and bring in the directions with me. Thank you. Aho Tonkashla. Grandfather, we look to the east and we welcome Grandfather Sun and Morning Star, place of new beginnings. Let today be a new beginning for all of the people, Tonkashla. A new day for all of the people today. Wachozani, good life, Tonkashla. We welcome the powers of the East and these new beginnings now. Aho. Aho Tonkashla. And Father, we look to the south, the place of the growing things, place of the warm time, the plant nation. Pajuta Oyate Wakan. We welcome your healing powers now. Heal us up in this good and holy way today. We thank you for that good medicine. We welcome you. There's room for you here. Aho. Atokashla, we look to the west, powers of the west. Wakia Oyate Wakan, sacred thunder beings, bringers of the rain. We welcome you. We welcome the Bear Nation as well, for that goes within medicine of this time. We welcome you. Mato, we thank you. People of the west, there's room for you here today. Thank you for being with us. Aho. Otokashla, we look to the north. We welcome Tatanka Oyate, Buffalo Nation. We welcome our elders, grandfathers, grandmothers, aunties, uncles. We welcome your wisdom, guidance, love, support, and protection in all that we do this moment here forth. We welcome you. People of the north, we welcome you. We thank you for being with us today. Aho. Atunkashla, we stand upon Unchi Maka again one more day. We thank you, Unchi, for supporting us in all of this good journey that you have us on, this good red road. And we thank you for loving us with the stone people and the waters, the Meni. We thank you for the sacred water, Tunkashla, bringer of life. We thank you for these people. We thank you for Grandma holding us and loving us again one more day. Thank you, Unchi Maka. Pilami and Wopila, we welcome you now. Aho. Atunkashla, we look to the above place, Father Sky, Cloud People, Star Nation. You unite all of these directions, and we welcome you now. And we give thanks for wrapping this up for us in a good way today, that we may come and pray in a good way, to send a voice to our friends, to our relations, all good things, Tunkashla. We thank you for the above people. There's room for you here. Aho. Atunkashla, lastly, we welcome all of our angels, guides, and helpers that are always with us, our kolas, our friends, they're always looking out for us. We thank you, Tunkashla. We thank you for this day. We thank you for this ceremony. We thank you for this opportunity to pray. Bilami Tunkashla. Hechatuelo. Aho. Mitakuyasen.
Remain standing with me, and now you need to close your eyes to imagine this, or keep them open, whatever you want, but I want you to imagine Standing Rock in North Dakota right now. Imagine thousands of vets coming there today. Imagine thousands of interfaith people gathering, many theologians, movie stars, and many ordinary people like you and I who are moved in their hearts to gather, to come driving, flying, moving in there from far and wide. Just imagine it right now. Picture it. Picture the airport being busy. Picture all of the hotels full. Picture 11,000 people on the north side of the river. Picture 10,000 people on the south side of the river. Many, many souls gathering there today. Feel the influx of power. Feel the focus. And feel ourselves united with all of that energy that's gathering there. Throughout our service here today, may you feel in your bones and your cells of your being that you are there, that you are in solidarity, that we are together, that we are united all across the planet. So in this moment, to acknowledge that unity with one another and how we recognize each other's divine nature in all of our diversity, whatever our ethnic background, our skin color, our religious beliefs, to recognize that in each other now, I'd like you to turn to other people here and greet them in a sacred manner, saying namaste, or peace be with you, or you're very loved, or say something wonderful to greet the people here. Greet for some of them are here. Should we have the blessing of the little ones after this next song, or before? Let's just have it after, so they can. And you know, they could stay too if the parents want them to, whatever the parents want.
What is happening?
We'll see. Okay. It's kind of an unusual, different kind of day. So let's have the first song.
It sounds like
This is called Sacred Circle Song by Lawrence Cole. And Giovanna is joining us today in the music. So thank you. The words, as we go, if you'd like to sing with us, please do. We sit in this circle and hold this ground in sacredness. We sit in this circle and pass around our thankfulness. O Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. O Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through. And then we're going to also sing about our wakefulness. We sit in this circle and hold this ground in wakefulness. And we'll repeat it a little bit. So again, I invite your voices to join ours. We sit in this circle and hold this ground in sacredness, this world to bless. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through. We sit in this circle and hold this ground and wait for this world to bless. We sit in this circle and pass around our wakefulness, our wakefulness. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through. Sit in this circle. Sit in this circle and hold this ground. Sacredness of this world to bless. Oh, we sit in this circle and hold this ground. In thankfulness, in thankfulness. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through. We sit with wakefulness. We sit in this circle and hold this ground in sacredness, this world to bless. We sit in this circle and hold around our thankfulness, our thankfulness. Spirit of life, oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through sin, sacredness. Sit in this circle and hold this ground in sacredness, this world to bless. We sit in this circle and pass around our thankfulness, our thankfulness. Spirit of life, oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through. Let's repeat that. Oh, Spirit of life. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks to you. Oh, Spirit of life, we give our thanks for helping us through.
Oh, Spirit of life. Dan Montpapa said this morning over in Lithia Park that white people forgot how to give back to life. So we want to be people that give back to life, that know how to nurture life. Great Spirit who dwells in each one of us and in all creatures. Kindle in us, quicken in us this knowing that a powerful, powerful life energy is within us, that nothing can dampen it, that things are happening to unleash it, that we are feeling quickened and renewed in our spirits right now, but that's what's going on. All of the negativity we know is just a calling. It's just the shadow part of the positive call that calls us out, that calls us to our next steps, that calls us to unite. We hear that call, Great Spirit. We feel it. We feel our hearts beating a little bit faster. We feel a sense of knowing of who we are, why we're here. So thank you, Spirit. Come amongst us. Help us to feel the breath, the wind blowing through our midst today, reminding us, calling us. Open, come, be with us now. Oh. You may be seated. Many of you have poems and prayers, and we're going to intersperse them with the music, so it'll just be as to when you feel it's your turn. You're moved to say a prayer, or to speak something, or to share a poem. So let's, in this moment, let's have a person come up who feels guided right now. You can use this microphone.
What a blessing today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this on? Yeah. These are the words of Joanna Macy. Don't be afraid of the dark. This is a dark time filled with suffering and uncertainty. Like living cells in a larger body, it is natural that we feel the trauma of our world. So don't be afraid of the anguish you feel, or the anger, or the fear. For these responses arise from the depth of your caring and the truth of your interconnectedness with all beings. To suffer with is the literal meaning of compassion. To suffer with is the literal meaning of compassion.
Good morning, everyone. I moved to come up here this morning because I'm moved so deeply by what's going on in Dakota, North Dakota. I'm extremely emotional. I can't seem to get a grip. I was listening to an interview with Winona LaDuke on Facebook. That woman knows her stuff. God bless Winona LaDuke. And some information came out that I wasn't aware of. There was mentioned that Sunoco Logistics was the main investor in that pipeline. They are also top of the chart for the most leaks and spills of pipelines across the U.S. But the real kicker is that's who my very own brother works for. And I've been standing with Standing Rock, and he texted me yesterday and said, "So, you stand with them?" And I just burst into tears. And I said, "Yes, brother, and I love you." He's very corporate-minded. And he proceeded to tell me they will not win. The pipeline will go through. And I just ask that his mind be, his corporate mind be dissolved, and his heart be touched and awakened. He is close to retirement, and I pray that that'll happen big time. But I love him, I have to accept that we have to agree to disagree. But just to reiterate, this has hit me on so many levels. And I just pray for a peaceful outcome and pray for all beings' hearts to be awakened.
Let's pray right now. This is a day of prayer. We're going to have lots of prayers today. But let's make this prayer a prayer for the people working on the pipeline, for the people paying for the pipeline, for the politicians and business people who want the pipeline. You know, it's a great mystery, but our spiritual teachings all over the world and our unity teachings say there are no enemies out there. Pray for our enemies, love our enemies, love those who despitefully use us, pile coals on their head like, heaps of coals on their head like love, So wow, that's what she's talking about. So let's just go into a moment of prayer here. And if I'll say something, and if anybody out there feels moved to say a prayer for these people that somehow they're walking down a path that's destructive, but it's in the greater scope of things. There's no enemies. Great Spirit, we know that your love is beyond our love, that your wisdom is beyond our wisdom, that we don't understand everything. We don't know even what's right or wrong sometimes, but we love the earth, and we want the earth to be healthy. We want the peoples and the plants and the animals of the earth to not be killed, to be healthy. So in this moment we pray for all those men and women who have a different idea about the pipeline than we do. We pray for them in a deep part of their souls, that they would be quickened today, that they would be touched in some way in their hearts, like our sister here is talking about, that our hearts and their hearts beat as one. No separation. No separation. And we know it when it's our own brother, when it's our own sister. We know how much we love them. And so we reach out right now. We imagine our arms, our loving arms, reaching out and embracing them all. And saying to them, there's room at our table for you. There's room, let's say that together. There's room at our table for you. There is room at our table for you. There is room at our table for you. And this means that there's nurturance, that there's sustenance on a deep soul level for anyone who wants to come to the table of love. We see them coming. We see them turning. We see them thinking deeply. We see them making a metanoia, like it's called a 180-degree turn, a turn in a different direction. We see it happening, even today at Standing Rock. Today, tomorrow, the next day, we see it turning. It's already happening in the governor. We see it turning happening.
Even in the police.
Even in the police. What we can imagine, we can have.
That all people that believe that their food and water comes from above through corporate financing, that they would feel and realize where their nourishment comes from, that the land and the water are there for them, all people the same, that they don't need any intermediary, that all people on earth may realize their connection with the earth and with the water and come to feel their power directly through it.
I pray that there are circles of love, compassion, and support for all people to make this transition into their hearts and to know their connection. There's deep fear here, there is old thinking, there's an awareness that is being called forth. And I know that these circles are forming all over the world, and they are inspired by Standing Rock, and we have great gratitude for that.
Oh. Let's have our next song.
Homatakuyasan. Good morning again. Okay, so this song was inspired by a weekend of water blessings of Grandma Aggie about 6 years ago, and the words here in Lakota. That has been my blessed path for many years. The Mini is water, Wachosani is life, bringer of life, and Pilamiea is thank you. And I invite you to sing along if you'd like, and are so inspired. Pilamia Tankashla. Many Wachosani, many Wachosani, many Wachosani, Pilamia. Pelameya, 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 many were choseni, many were choseni, many were choseni, many were choseni, Pelameya, 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 many were choseni, many were choseni, many were choseni, many were choseni, Pelameya, 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 many were choseni. Aho, Mitakuyasan, Pilami Takash, Pilami Honchi, Aho.
Water. Water. It's all about the water. It's all about the water. Such a precious, precious thing on planet Earth, right? They call themselves the water protectors. I'm going to pass this sacred water around to each one of you, take the top off of it, and I'd like you to dip your fingers in it and bless yourself. To pray your prayers into this water. To pray symbolically for water in North Dakota, in the great Missouri River, and the Mississippi River, and the Pacific Ocean, you know what I'm saying? And whatever water you have felt close to, too. Like I grew up by Lake Erie. During the times when they said Lake Erie died, and all the fishes came on the shore, and then they revived it by taking the toxins out. But I grew up very sad about Lake Erie. So water. I moved here really because it was so dry in New Mexico. It was very hard to subsist in New Mexico because of such a lack of water. And so we're blessed with flowing streams here that still exist. So the water. So throughout the rest of how long it takes, to pass around the water, but each person take some of this water, bless it, and bless yourself. Blessing of the water.
Grandma Aggie says we are all water babies.
And when you bless the water and pray to the water, it resonates out into the world. So when you're taking a shower or washing your hands or doing the dishes, just talk to that water, and it's like a megaphone.
Well, I brought a poem today. I think I'll do my poem next. I'll preface it by saying that it's called On Joy and Sorrow. On Joy and Sorrow. And this week I've been deep in prayer and meditation, trying to understand what was mine to do, what my calling was. And I felt both of these things so deeply. I felt a joy that I could get on an airplane, and I had the money to do that, and go to Standing Rock if I chose to. And I felt sorrow, such a heartbroken feeling of sorrow of what was happening there, and hearing of many terrible things going on there, and hearing of many wonderful things happening there amongst the prayerful energy that's there. And so as I went through all of my inner struggles about what to do, it was difficult. And I imagine that you might be going through those inner ups and downs yourself these days. Are you? Are any of you feeling that way? Like the ups and downs of this time that we're in? And so this Kahlil Gibran poem came to me. And I love Kahlil Gibran because, I don't know why, but several times in my life, I don't know exactly really what he looked like, but he's come to me in my dreams. And he's talked to me about that this is his time as well as when he lived, and that his words are so important for our times. And so anyway, I just feel a special connection with Kahlil Gibran. Thank you for being with us. This is what he said: your joy is your sorrow unmasked. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? Love that line. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. I've often said we can only meet at the place of the broken heart. I think that's what he's talking about here. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy all the time. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall. Only when you are empty will the scales be balanced. Love that moment. I've been feeling that as I've come through this week. I've come through to this feeling of great emptiness. I didn't know if I could even say any words at all today, because it's that kind of emptiness that I'm feeling. I feel like that's the deep place that's calling us. This place that's deeper than words, and yet we try to find something to express about it, which helps one another. But we're being called to that really deep, empty-hearted place. Sunyata, call it in Buddhism. So, thank you for being people that are willing to be there.
Norma's beautiful opening words took us right to Standing Rock. If it helps to close your eyes for a moment, we can imagine being right there. Feeling the cold. The uncertainty of what's going to happen, a little fear. And the incredible courage and strength in numbers. I have a poem from D.H. Lawrence to read that beautifully articulates our role as transmitters. We're always transmitting something. It's our nature. And this morning, in prayerful collaboration, we're transmitting an invitation that illuminates this red road we all walk together, not an imposition or a demand. I thought Norma spoke so beautifully about that. Praying for everyone. True prayer has no judgment in it. As we live, we are transmitters of life. And when we fail to transmit life, life fails to flow through us. That is part of the mystery of sex. It is a flow onwards. Sexless people transmit nothing. And if, as we work, we can transmit life into our work, life, still more life, rushes into us to compensate, to be ready, and we ripple with life through our days. Even if it's a woman making an apple dumpling, or a man, a stool, if life goes into the pudding, good is the pudding, good is the stool, content is the woman, with fresh life rippling in her, content is the man. Give, and it shall be given to you, is still the truth about life. But giving life is not so easy. It doesn't mean handing it out to some mean fool or letting the living dead eat you up. It means kindling the life quality where it was not. Even if it's only in the whiteness of a washed pocket handkerchief. No moment is too little, no moment is too big. We're always transmitting. And as we learned, I don't know your name, but the woman who spoke, whose brother works for that company, the term surrogate refers to an individual used to transmit something through. And I really appreciate you bringing him to focus here. He provides a surrogate of sorts through his heart, which is opening. Our prayer moves directly into that company with no judgment, no blame, right? Just love. Love to illuminate this road.
I'm going to start with a poem and then we're going to do some romping and stomping. So, Spirit's just talking to me loud and clear that right now and right here, we are here to pray and we are here to say Love is the strongest medicine on the planet, and it will rule. I have been to the mountain, and the mountaintops are gone. I've been to the rivers, and I lift that water up, and I'm about to take a sip, and it's dark with the soot of your chimneys, and it's crude with your oil. I've been to the oceans, and the poisons and the toxins and the dead zones all around the world are crying and telling us no more. The basic, wonderful things of life have been taken at times. The mighty Akashic record keeper Orca has been put down by your poisons. And so right now, right here, we recognize that. We, as humans, recognize that, and we are here to help, and we are here to pray, and we are here to guide us along the way towards our sanity, towards our humanity, towards a peaceful, beautiful place. How beautiful are we? How beautiful can we be? And that is what we are being called to right now, right here at Unity. In this community, we are called to be the beauty that we are. We are called to see that shining star and let that light shine upon us and be us. It is no longer acceptable to sit idly by and see what the Kardashians are doing. It is no longer acceptable to not get on the phone, to sign a petition, to help a neighbor. It is no longer acceptable. How joyous is that? May we celebrate our humanity is being called to be humane as we move away from the insane. Okay. So this is where you get to pray and sing through your bodies and your voices. So I'm going to start soon. I'm going to start with the microphone. Here we go. Okay. I'm just going to start and saying that we're going to do a little romp and stomp. And you'll know when that starts, when my feet start moving. And what I invite you to do, like I said about the water resonating, the flute sound resonates out your prayers. So I want you to think of a mantra within yourself that you want to put out to the world. Speak it to yourself. And when the flute starts, I want you to think about that mantra going out and resonating in the world, because sound is a frequency that can carry very far. So let us resonate here, resonate in Standing Rock, and resonate to all the places in the world that need the light. There's room at the table for all. There is room at the table for all. There is room at the table. There's room at the table. There's room at the table for all.
can create beautiful things, can't we? In 1995, I was in Beijing, China, at the big international women's gathering. Remember hearing about that? 40,000 women from all over the world came together. 40,000. It was so amazing. And this Standing Rock event reminds me of that. It was a time in 1995 when we didn't know the certainty of the future for our planet, just like now. Way back then, that we were thinking the same things that we're thinking now. You know, it's just amped up and amped up. So women were moved from all over the planet to raise money, to do fundraisers, to get themselves there. And they came from everywhere. It was amazing to meet who was there, you know, like tribal women from Papua New Guinea, women with strange little hats on from the high mountain of the Andes, where they had never been away from their home before. So many women from Africa, thousands and thousands of women from Africa, all in their beautiful tribal garments. Oh, it was amazing. And I imagine that it's similar to be at Standing Rock, you know, the diversity and all of the Native American nations that haven't been together in hundreds of years in this way. So when somebody's at home thinking about what to do, they get moved in their heart to get resources together, to get people together, to get there, right? To do something. They have to have a vision. Well, Standing Rock people are asking us to take that power of vision, like Will was talking about transmission power, and to use that power of vision for some practical good things that need to happen. Because it's not going to happen without us envisioning and seeing it very clearly, like that unity saying goes, what you can imagine, you can have. So we've got to envision some very practical things that we each know need to happen. So I want you to just call out a few of these right now. Just call out a few things that you have seen, that you know, that you've envisioned, that need to happen on planet Earth.
Honoring the sacred.
Honoring the sacred.
Creating a new story.
I'll just call them out, I won't repeat them.
Free energy.
Caring for the soil.
Disarmament.
Healthy
Connecting with
relationships.
nature.
What was that one over there?
Healthy relationships.
Being mindful of what you consume.
True
Open heart.
communication.
Honesty.
Organic food production.
Non-judgment.
Honoring diversity. No blame.
Respecting all
of
our
the life on
government.
the planet.
Being mindful of population. Protecting our young.
Rehabilitation versus incarceration.
Living from the heart.
Calming spirit.
Realizing our connection.
Protecting our water.
Respecting elders.
Compassion.
Healing our
Open
spirits.
Sovereignty.
Grieving.
Music.
Witnessing the world as a child.
What was that?
Witnessing the world as a child.
The great healing of all humanity.
Celebration.
Gratitude.
Acceptance.
Laughter.
Renewable energy.
Housing for everyone. Willingness. Surrender.
Self-realization.
Healing.
Listening.
Playful innocence.
Collaboration.
Trust. No one in the world being hungry. No one in the world being without fresh water. Those were beautiful. Wasn't that just a symphony of beauty, what we're saying? We know what needs to happen. We know what needs to happen. Now think about the power of that. Nobody here doubts anything that was just said there, but that needs to happen, right? It's pretty amazing when you realize that people all over the planet, I believe the majority of the people are wanting everything we just said. When I was at the Beijing Women's Conference and was there with 40,000 women, I wanted to have some question to ask people, so I went around asking them what their spiritual vision was for the planet. And no matter where they were from, they said things like this, just like you're saying right now. It made me feel like there is a consciousness all over the planet that knows what we need and that is going about accomplishing it. This is what's true. This is, don't you think? That is what is true. Now there is another consciousness too that we see in the pipeline, but I believe that that consciousness is fading away. That it's losing its grip, that it's losing its power, that its time is coming to a close. Don't you think so? Yes. It really is. And I also feel that in the next period of time, we're going to see miracles. We're going to see, in my dreams years ago, I saw things happening that happened in a twinkling of an eye, in the snap of a finger, in the turning of things in a way much faster than we could typically imagine that they would happen. So let's remember that as we go throughout our days. And we're going to sing a song right now that's called I Believe in a Vision. And use this song as a prayer to ignite the transmission of these visions, because they will come through us. They will come. Every one of you are so important in your visions. I had an old aunt who sat in a nursing home, and every time I'd go and visit her back in New York State, she would tell me, I'm doing intercessory prayer for the world, because I can't walk around and talk to people and pray with them directly anymore. Every day I'm spending hours in intercessory prayer. And then she'd tell me, you know what? I feel like I was communicating with a person in Africa today. I feel like I was communicating with a person in China today. What do you think? Intercessory prayer. We can do this. You know, no matter who you are, you can sit in a quiet place and do intercessory prayer. So this next song, I Believe in a Vision. Let's really use this song as a prayer, knowing the truth of what's happening on our planet right now. These visions are coming true.
This song came through me. I don't say it is my song because it's very much so all of our song. A couple years ago. Feels very appropriate right now. So enjoy. I believe in a vision that includes you and me, and all the beings out there living in unity. No destruction, just harmony. I talked to the mountain. She said back to me, we've got to take a stop right now. That's what my mama said to me. That's what my mama said to me. My mama, she is Mother Earth. She's yours, she's mine, from dead to birth. We're all stewarding this home place called Earth. So Earthlings, let's think collaboratively. We spin through a spiral, a sea of uncertainty. We come to the spiral and promise to be free. Our destruction is one poverty. It's our moment, get up and be free. It's our moment, get up and be free. Oh, side of spirit, truth and honesty. Oh, side of spirit, truth and honesty. Sing with me now. The side of spirit, truth and honesty. Oh, the side of spirit, truth and honesty.
in a vision that includes you and me, and all the beings on earth living in unity.
So let's get practical about this vision. We have within Unity, Unity Climate Action Committee. And then in Ashland, there's a big climate action movement going on. In fact, this coming Tuesday night with the city council, is this right, Patty? Wednesday
the 7th.
Wednesday the 7th. The Climate Action Committee is meeting. Patty, why don't you come up now with me and Jeanine, to bring forth the second part of the Climate Action Plan for our area. And you should be there. They want people from the town to come and give their affirmation to this and to impact the city council with what needs to happen locally for climate action. So Patty and Jeanine and Phil and Susan and Anya, they're on that committee, the Unity Climate Action Committee, with many more. And they want to talk to you a little bit about some practical things about this vision that we're bringing forth.
First, I'll finish this announcement of what is happening on Wednesday. The Climate Action Group, which is largely made up of young people in our community and even a high school action group. Very, very inspiring. I've been working with the City Council and the ad hoc committee to create this climate action plan. It's going to be presented to the public before its installation, and that's going to be Wednesday. So all of us will be at that back table after our church service today, which is very, very beautiful, and share with you any kind of questions you have about what is coming up, because this climate action plan in Ashland is a forerunner. Eugene and Ashland are the first to present this in the nation. So this is huge, and your support and feedback is really wanted and needed in this. Tremendous support, especially for these young people that are the inspiration and the hope, the energy that is ensuring that change is happening. And it is happening through bringing people in of all walks to create this together. And I just want to speak briefly, and I'm certain everybody else would like to share. For me, the most practical thing that we can do, and we do in our action group, is to take all of our concerns, all of our desires to create a difference, to really support what is going on in the world in a positive way, is to go into Sacred Circle together and to allow that to come through us, where we're no longer imposing our will on something because we don't have the answers. Marianne Williamson says now is the time to pray for miracles and acknowledge we don't have the answers unless it comes through that divine connection. So we gather in circle, and we, as individuals, and each with our own gifts, and take that into our sacred circle, and something is birthed out of that. And usually, what is birthed is a heart connection that we're so profoundly grateful for, and that acts as our guidance And that is what I feel is the most important thing at this time, that we can give each other and we can create for a real change in our world.
I don't know how I could add a whole lot to that. She speaks from her heart every minute of every day. I will tell you just a little bit about my experience, and that is that I have never seen myself as an activist. I'm not even sure.
Switch on the bottom.
I got it. It's on. How about that? Okay. So forget that word and think of yourself as an advocate or as a lover of life. And go into that place where you remember what you love about all of creation. And I think that's kind of where we started as a group. You know, just getting back in touch with and acknowledging what we love. And that brought us to the place where we have to also acknowledge our grief and our despair. And that's a lot of what we've dealt with in our group as well. But for each individual, I can't tell you what you need to do. You need to name your wisdom, name your gifts, and write them down if you need to. And then what rises up from that? What are you inspired to do, and how are you inspired to contribute? There are so many things to do in this community. And the list is long, and we can, talk more about that if anybody wants real specifics. But there's a lot going on in Ashland. Ashland is becoming a model. I think the group itself, just being together with other people who have an intention, who want to be together to listen to each other and see each other. That's a big part of what's happening now too, as I think Patty said earlier, these circles, these cells are starting to happen all over the planet. And that's how our culture is going to change and consciousness is going to change, when we meet together in small groups and hear each other. So, listen to yourself, listen to what's inside. You'll know, how to act, where to act, and when to act. And just real quick, I have one other, more of an announcement. Over the next 2 Sundays, we're going to be collecting warm scarves, hats, mittens, and socks to give out to families who are picking up holiday food boxes at the Ashland Food Bank on Christmas Eve. So if you have anything extra, if you and any of your groups want to collect, bring them on Sunday, the next 2 Sundays, or even contact me and I'll come by and pick them up. So I know they've done that the last couple of years, and this year it didn't seem like anybody was taking it on, so my husband and I said, okay, we'll jump in.
I'll be at the back table. As we had the luxury of going to British Columbia for a couple of months this past summer as one of tens or hundreds of thousands of climate change refugees who've lost their homes. And what we discovered in British Columbia is that, like Ashland, Canada, and much of the world is far ahead on this matter, and that we need to make sure that this country is not the last of the fossil fuel dinosaurs. They have carbon tax, they have alternate energy. They are much more green than even Ashland in certain places. Their federal government, their provincial government would be very comfortable here. They are not all funded by fossil fuel magnates, like everything from our election campaigns to public broadcasting is funded by. So that was really inspiring, and Standing Rock is, I know, inspiring for much of the world and me. Well, thank you for all being here.
Bill and I joined the UCA, we call ourselves Unity Climate Action Group, because we wanted to see if, well, we didn't know any of these folks very well, and we wanted to see what an activist spiritual group is from our own Unity community. And what we found is that we're all creating it, of course, ourselves. And the phrase that keeps coming to me that I heard a few years ago that we all can live by is, praise Allah and tie your camel. So on Sundays, we're here praising Allah, or whoever you praise, and all of the names for the Creator. And as far as tying our camel is where our action comes. And I like to start personally with that and look at my own life and see what is my experience that's driving me every Sunday when Norma says, what is the meaning? What is the purpose in your life? And I go out here going, yeah, what is that? And my age and stage, we're calling ourselves retired for now. And that's because we didn't retire with a big, huge retirement plan. We just ran out of time and money and health because of the economy, and none of our clients could pay us anymore, so we decided we were old enough to take a break. But we're not done yet, so here we are with our group. And I call that housing as far as my vision, because really we are climate change refugees. Because of the smoke that invaded Ashland 2 summers ago, our air conditioning malfunctioned, our house filled with smoke. Everything in our home is still covered with smoke and ash, and State Farm Insurance won't pay for it. Why not? Because they've been paying for all these disasters all over the world. And your friendly neighborhood State Farm Insurance doesn't pay individually anymore if they can possibly get out of it. And so we would have to sue them. So I've decided to name names. You know, our agent Brian Conrad hasn't even called us, has never come to help us. And you know, this is a small town. We all know who each other is here, and when people are not doing the right thing, we need to tell each other and call each other on it, and be positive, and be forgiving, and know that it can change, and know that it can change. Just yesterday we heard about another family where this has happened to, and another family where this has happened to. It's taken over a year for people. At first people said, that never happened to me. Why did that happen to you? Why do you think that happened to you? You know, it's like, I don't know, but I'm trying to find out. So it's all a part of this bigger picture that we're talking about, and for us to share our personal story here is a part, I think, of us getting to know each other better, and not just showing up on Sunday and wearing a name tag and saying hi, and then leaving for the week, but being in some kind of small circle or really speaking from the heart to each other afterwards. So I invite you to do that today. Thanks.
Wow. Well, as an activist, my job is to keep the flame lit. So I always light the candle and bring in the inspiration. I'm a poet, and I find so much solace in reading poetry. And one of the books I'm reading from today is called The Ley Lines of the Soul by Dorothy Walters. You know, ley lines are the energetic connections between all the sacred sites on the planet. And the ley lines of the soul are the energetic patterns that connect each one of us to the truth of who we are, that soul presence. So I'd like to read a poem that this beautiful poet wrote. This is from 2012. The Heart in Mourning, that's Mourning. The Heart in Mourning. Bring your gift to the door. Even if all you have is your sorrow, the pain of the flower crushed on the road, the child shivering along the wayside, know that grief is enough. Know that grief is enough. Your offering will be taken, exalted into the highest place. The heart in mourning is its own benediction. The heart in mourning is its own benediction.
Let's give a hand for our climate action. During this next song, our offering takers, please take the offering. And this next song is called Going Down into the Earth. Is that the title of it?
We're going to do...
Surely our prayers and our beautiful voices and songs and heart's wishes are traveling across the miles to Standing Rock today. I feel our unity with them, don't you? Feel it. Let's bless our offering and pray for all of the gifts at the same time of food and money and clothing that are flowing into Standing Rock, because this is a wonderful prayer that we say together about the offerings being redoubled and even more abundant than what was actually in these bags. So we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. So may it be. Oh. Let's just imagine right now that the people at Standing Rock do have an abundance of all that they need, that they have enough food, that they have enough water, they have enough warm clothes, enough heaters, enough tents, plenty to get them through the cold, and that even deeper than that, that they have this rising surge of life energy deep within their hearts and souls. We picture that, we envision that, and let's all say together, and so that is, and so that is. Oh. I would just ask if there's any other prayer right now that someone needs to speak out or bring forth, if there's anything else that needs to be said.
Unfortunately, Oregon made the top number.
The people of darker skin in our community, that they would feel safe, that they would feel loved, that they would feel how cherished they are. Help us in our study of racism, homophobia, heterosexism, all the various isms. Help us to study within ourselves the root causes and to be excavating that and healing that in ourselves, healing it, so that we truly in this community can dwell together in a deep, really authentic unity that everybody feels and knows. May we lead the way in healing of hate crimes, because we've had that notoriety of being seen as a place where hate crimes are. So may we turn that around. Isn't that possible? Yes. We can turn that around and be a place that really leads the way in a true kind of healing. Show us the way, Spirit. Show us, each of us in our hearts, give us ideas about what to do about that. We thank you. Thank you for this prayer. Aho.
Normal.
Yes.
As a 25% Ojibwa woman with white skin, I want to speak to what you just said about your skin color, because we're beyond skin color. Skin color is a myth. We just don't get a lot of sun. But inside of us, we all come from Aboriginal people. We all come from the earth. The northern people are Aboriginal as well. And I believe that the healing is in looking beyond what we look like on the outside to who we are and what our needs are together as a people.
That's such an important word, too. And I always do point people to our indigenous roots, no matter where we came from. But that being said, having a daughter that has a skin color that's darker than ours, and watching her all through the years going through lots of prejudice in this community, whoa, that's a whole other side of it too, you know. Like, we do have to acknowledge both of these. Well, that's a wonderful perspective.
As a woman, we all know this.
Yeah.
We all know this. We all experience all of these things in our lives. We're all wounded. We live in a wounded world. And we're looking to heal everyone.
And so, thank you so much for saying that perspective, and thank the woman in the back for saying that perspective. And we are in a diversity right here with all the diversities that we have, and we, you know, it's great because we deeply honor diversity. That's what we're working on in our unity consciousness. So thank you so much for that.
Norma,
yes.
I call on the creation of a new story where we're able to really look at how we are individually connected to the old story, the story of violence, the story of discrimination, the story of privilege, where we can really look at that and embrace that in ourselves so that we have compassion for ourselves and no longer project out to others that we are resisting in our own personalities and our own beliefs. And that we come together and create a new story And this is really getting in touch with our hearts. What is it we want to create now? It is beautiful. We want to have eyes that don't see differences in color. And just really putting our focus on that. We have to wean ourselves now from the old story, the story of addiction. It's become a story of addiction to violence and separation. If we are to come together and be one, we need to put our focus on a new story.
Yes.
And that time is now.
Yes.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Speak of us, the parts of us that have privilege, and take them over here and find ways to stand in solidarity with the people that have less of the privileges or are prejudiced upon by our society. So that's what we're here to do, right? That's what we're all here to do, and that's what we're talking about, is that kind of social justice, right? A kind of spirituality that has an erotic, embodied justice to it. So thank you for speaking out that passionate truth. There's room for that here. There's room for what Patty's saying and what the other woman in the back is saying. There's room to hear the truth, and to help one another. And I invite people to consider doing the Journey to Completion too. That's my way of offering you an opportunity to look into the shadow wounds that we have, the wounded places, and heal them so that our whole culture can heal. That's the way we're going to be moving it, is when we heal ourselves. So we aspire to be, this community right here, Unity Community, aspire to be a welcoming place for gay, lesbian, for people of color, for people of any diversity that feels, unsafe out there. So let's get in our big circle and join hands and feel that truth.